Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Game Brothers podcast, a weekly podcast all about video games and board games. Saying backwards today. My name is David, and I'm one of your hosts, joined by my co-host and brother, Devin. Devin, how are you doing on this kind of crazy Wednesday where I tried to fit in too many activities?
I'm doing fantastic, like always.
Good.
We just went to a little league soccer game, if that's what you call it.
It's true. Yeah, we like watching little kids play soccer. No, it was my son.
They had it. I mean, there were ornaments on the field. I saw like some hydro flasks. The one chick had a blanket as a cape.
Like over her head most of the game. Just running in circles.
The refs weren't calling anything, which was making me mad.
Yeah, probably sue the city for sure. Yeah, kids sports are funny. It's madness, and you're just happy they're like getting some physical activity and like laughing with their friends for the first like few years. Then it like slowly starts to get a bit more competitive. My 8-year-old is like starting to get towards the competitive edge, and he's like really upset if they don't win. But then like their leagues aren't even keeping score still, so it's like who won? I don't know. So yeah, kind of crazy. Yeah, that was kind of spontaneous. Thanks for going with us.
It was nice. It's nice to get outside.
Yeah,
I don't do that enough.
You looked good in the cheerleading uniform with pom-poms.
I was just embracing my truth.
Wow, yeah. Love it. Cool. Well, Devin, this is it's a new week. It's been such a busy week. So I don't even feel like I'm here in front of the microphone. I don't even know like what I'm usually saying at this point. I think I already did like the hello, but what do we normally do here? We just talk about how the week's gone. How's your week gone?
Pretty dang good. Been busy trying to kind of post more content on TikTok. I'm sure you saw my amazing video.
I did see that one.
What else is going on? Trying to stay physically fit as well, and also like
good for you.
Add in time to, talk to a potential significant other, or like. So that's still going on.
The chickadees.
Yep. So still trying to do that. Just trying to figure out where all these people get all this time in each day to accomplish these great things.
Yeah, some people I feel like are just more driven than me, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. I feel like I try pretty hard sometimes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I can be honest with myself and say, you lacked on Tuesday for sure. But for the most part, I'm like, dang, you put a lot of work and effort into different things. And
yeah,
I guess that's what you do in life. You go through phases or stages.
Yep.
And even if you're a little behind, I think all can be well. I look at you and your neighbors and I'm like, oh, cool. So this is what everyone's doing. Get yourself a small home. You have like kids, you put them in sports, doing all this stuff. I'm like, maybe I did something wrong. You know what I mean?
No, I think there's no wrong paths. And, just highlighting a single word you said there, we have a very small home. Our life is madness and definitely not well put together. So I feel like everyone's just kind of winging it. But
yeah, and that's the beautiful, funny thing about life.
Yeah.
It's a unique adventure for all of us.
Yeah. It is funny. Like when I'm at work, I talk to a lot of people I work with at my company and some of our customers and stuff. And I'm pretty close with my boss, and we'll like just be chatting every once in a while, and he'll be like, aren't you like surprised like fairly often like how dumb some of our customers and like people are? And I'm just like, yeah, totally. And not saying that I'm like God's gift to man in any way. I think the point I was just trying to get across is like at work, it feels like nobody knows what they're doing and everyone's just trying to figure it out. And then when I get off of work and get off the computer, I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing tonight, but we're just winging it.
Yeah, it's a great point. I've climbed the corporate ladder in my past.
Yeah.
And I didn't make it to like this boss position, but I mean, we reached manager and was leading a team and like all this stuff. And at every single step, you look around you and go, interesting.
Yeah.
You got here?
Exactly.
Yep. Wait, you're above me?
Yeah, very
it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luck and timing is to account.
Yeah, not to say, like you're saying, not to say I'm any better than anybody else, but as a human, we observe things, and it's like, oh, odd.
For sure.
But
Yep.
we're all winging it.
We are. That's,
you know.
Yep. It's kind of the, I don't know, kind of the cool part and the weird part about this like life of chaos we have on Earth is that if you just embrace the fact that it's like chaos and nobody can be like, I don't know, perfectly situated and planned for everything, then I think you'll be less stressed and happier, says the guy who's always stressed. So don't take my advice.
No, that's a great point, though. I try to live by all is well.
Yeah.
You know, no matter your circumstance, I think you can be happy despite any negative thing, no matter how severe.
Yeah.
That's what I've tried to learn in 33 years on this earth. But
yeah.
Anyways, I went to a movie this week.
Oh, Super Movie Brothers, just starting quick. Love it. How was the movie? You went to the movie theater.
I did. I went to the movie theater, the biggest theater room that they had.
XD.
Oh, yeah. XD. Nice seats, loungers. You already know we got that large popcorn.
You a sody?
You know, halfway through the movie, I thought I wish I had a sody.
Wow.
I was dry mouthing that popcorn.
That's nuts. I can just picture you in there like blood pouring out of your mouth because your mouth's so dry, but you can't stop.
I was like, I will get through this. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I had no liquid, so I made sure to hydrate before going to the theater. I get there, and I wear glasses every day, right?
Yeah.
The chick goes, here's your 3D glasses.
Did you know you were getting the 3D movie?
You know, I'll be honest. I noticed on my way there because I was trying to get up the QR code and get everything prepped, and I was like, oh boy.
Crap. Yeah.
But I just stretched them out a little and put them over my other glasses, so I had a large popcorn sitting by myself in the very back like a psychopath.
With a layered 2 pairs of glasses.
Yep. Dry mouth. Finished the whole popcorn. Anyways, back to the movie talk. I watched Thunderbolts. It's Marvel's newest movie, unless one came out today. I loved it a lot.
Really?
Yes. I don't think that it was perfect, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone because it's still in theaters, but Florence Pugh and David Harper, is that his name?
Harbour.
Yeah. David Harbour. Oh man, they're both just so good. Yeah. So dang good. And they play father-daughter.
Oh, did they? I didn't know
that. It's also as far as I know, like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow's dad as well.
Right.
Their family's super cool. Very unique. I like that they've added them into the MCU. Their whole family's very, very different. But man, it was touching. It was well done. Definitely stepped away from the norm of Marvel. And took maybe a less strength build group of misfits and introduced some hardships and crazy stuff in front of them. And it was nice. So it was very loud, very big screen, 3D. I could almost touch the characters and I had a good time. It was really nice, especially when you don't have to pay for the movie. I had gift cards and all sorts of stuff to just go see it for free.
Yeah, that's cool. When you are finished this like Marvel journey you're on, watching like all of them chronologically, we should do like a tier ranking video of all
the movies.
Ooh. I'd be interested to know like what are your S tier Marvel movies like, and just watching Thunderbolts. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
A couple days ago. Was it yesterday?
It was.
What tier would you put it at without any other thought?
Well, man, I mean, it's at least A.
Okay.
For me,
A tier's good.
Yeah, it was good. I think Florence Pugh is just unbelievable as an actress. She just turns into the character that she's playing, and it's so impressive.
Yeah, she can sell a performance, whether it's like a rom-com kind of movie or a drama or a horror movie or an action movie like this. You know, she's good at all of them. So that's cool. Well, for Super Movie Brothers, Devin, I have a couple things. Ooh. First off, we're doing our The Last of Us like episode spoiler cast review discussions every week. So make sure to check those out. They're on our The first two are on YouTube here, so you can just watch those totally for free. And then the rest of them are on our Patreon at patreon.com/supergamebrothers. So if you're watching that show, probably the best show on TV right now, in my opinion, then yeah, please check those out. It'll help us keep the lights on. Other than that, which we'll talk about in a separate little mini episode, I had an evening where my wife was out, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do right now. Should I be productive? Going back to this conversation about how I'm not as driven as some people are. I probably should have been productive. I was like, I want to watch a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And when my wife's not around, I generally am finally able to watch a horror movie because she's getting more and more like.
I'm so surprised you went with that genre.
I know. This is probably the first time I've ever watched a horror movie alone.
Wow.
Because usually, if there's one I want to watch, I talk her into it. Yeah. It just takes a few extra months or something. But I was like, you know what? I'm getting so far behind in that genre. I just am going to watch one myself. So, signed up for a month of Paramount Plus. What do you think I watched on there? They have quite a few horror movies.
Smile 2. Is that on there?
It is.
But I'm wrong.
You are halfway right.
Oh, it was Smile 1?
I watched Smile.
Okay. That one actually freaked me out the first time I watched it.
It is a scary one. I think especially the first 3 quarters.
Right. Yeah.
This is the same fate that most horror movies kind of are befallen. I said that weird, but once you understand like the shtick or the rules of like the horror movie, it's less scary knowing there are rules.
Right.
Yeah. In the first half, when you're like, what are the rules? This doesn't make any sense. It's just creepy things happening. That's when it's most scary. But yeah, I watched Smile. Really liked it. Right. I think it's like I don't know that it's my highest tier of horror movie, but I think it was excellent. I'd give it like A tier probably. I'm always torn on how I want a horror movie to end. And sometimes if it's too like perfect and clean and they escape the situation, you're like, that doesn't really match the vibe of the rest of the movie. But then if like you think they're going to escape and then they don't, then that is kind of like a lit down is not the right word, but like you had all this hope kind of like, oh, they're going to get out of it. And then if they don't, sometimes they do it clever enough that you're like, okay, even though it was kind of like a downer ending, like I kind of like enjoyed that too. And so I'm not sure like which way I would have preferred it to end. Like they killed the demon beast thing and do escape, or the path they chose to go. I guess spoilers here for Smile is you think they're probably going to escape, and then they don't, and the main character dies. Kind of this show reminded me a lot of like The Ring and The Grudge. Okay. And horror movies like that feel like a little like older school in the way that there are very strict rules. Like in The Ring, like if you watch this movie, you die in exactly 7 days. You probably have some creepy stuff happen before those 7 days, but at 7 days is when you die. And this one's pretty similar. If you I won't spoil it, but if you something happens to you about 4 or 5-ish days later, after a bunch of other creepy things happen to you, you will die. And I was surprised about that structure a little bit. Again, it made me think of older movies, and I feel like horror movies haven't had that kind of structure a lot lately, since like The Ring and like The Grudge. You go in the house, was kind of the Grudge rules. But I liked it because of it seemed like a throwback, even though it wasn't. It also is a little bit gory, but I'm glad they didn't like super linger. Like it would be like gory for a second and then cut, which I think is the right amount. I'm not like a gore hound, which some people are.
Gore is interesting when they do super like body horror.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
I'm like, oh man.
Like I like the startling imagery is like powerful, and I'm like I don't know. I thought it was a good balance in my opinion. It's a little bloody and violent at times for sure, but not like too over the top. Um, yeah, I guess what else to say about the movie? I like the whole kind of premise. I was surprised that it was kind of like a big creature at the end instead of like a like would you call it a creature? I guess technically the other people couldn't see it,
I don't know another name for that thing.
but it is kind of like a creature. I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess the last thing I'll say about this one is just the visual of someone smiling at you is very creepy. Like just and the only thing they do is they hold the smile longer than normal.
Yep, and it's freaky.
Yeah.
There's a movie called, I think it's called Oculus. It uses mirrors, and basically you see yourself, and I think maybe yourself smiles back at you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They play on this in Hereditary as well. The boy's in the classroom, he looks into a reflection, and his own reflection smiles at him, and every single time I'm like, oh, that's eerie.
Yeah, it is.
I have said a few times now, I think one of the scariest things for me would be to be driving home, and you round the corner, and you can see inside your own house, and you see yourself in your own house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be
I don't like that.
I don't either. I've never thought of that before.
Yeah, I don't want to see. Nope. Not for me.
That's funny. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like that main shtick of just the smiling villain is pretty powerful. Watched that one. My wife wasn't home yet, so I went right into number 2.
Wow.
Back to back.
Surprised you weren't like, I've had enough scare.
You know, it was a little intense, but I was vibing. My wife got home about halfway through that one, so I had to finish it the next day. But Smile 2, I guess the first one kind of ends with main character dies, but the guy that was helping her, the police officer, was like almost helped her escape. And then since he saw her die at the end, it's kind of haunting him now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really big actor in like horror movies right now. Mostly like thriller kind of movies. He's like in Strange Darling and
oh, right. Yeah. Have you seen Strange Darling?
I haven't.
Oh, pretty good.
And I feel like there's another one called like Passengers or something.
Yes, he's in that as well.
Yeah. I like him. He's like an actor that every time you see him, you like recognize him.
Yes.
But he's not like uber star. Like,
yeah.
But every time I see him, I'm like, okay, I know he's like a good actor. I'm going to vibe with him a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the second movie starts and immediately it's on him. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's kind of bummed he dies in like the first 5 seconds, which was fine. And then it goes to the actual main character of the story. And I really like that actress.
Yeah.
That plays her. She's she's in like the live action Disney Aladdin as Jasmine.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what else she's in. Those are the only 2 things I've seen her in.
Oh man, I couldn't tell you either, but yes.
But I was very surprised. She played very good, like terrified character the whole time. Mm-hmm. And she is in the show, at least she's a really famous, I don't know, singer. Like I don't like Ariana Grande kind of level singer. And so I liked that they changed the vibe. It's not just like another normal person. It's okay, how would this scenario with the smiling villain and like the same kind of 4 to 5 day timeline happen with someone who is famous and like can't escape the press and has to like go to concerts and put on these shows and stuff. So I really liked that one too. I couldn't decide which one I liked better. I liked her as a main character better than the lady in the first one, but I thought the lady in the first one did a good job too. But I think the first one was a little scarier because you didn't agree 100%. You didn't know all the rules at that point, It was.
There's a scene in the first one where she like looks into the kitchen and near the cabinets there's like kind of a face there. And it freaked me out. I was in the theater and I was like, oh goodness.
Yeah, that first time where she's like after the death at the beginning and she sees that character in her kitchen, like you said, that's
yeah. Yep, it got me.
Yep. That one is rough. But there are some creepy scenes in the second one too. And then I feel like I'm talking about these horror movies for too long, but it was kind of a fun little splurge. I was surprised. I thought they were gonna, I guess spoilers for Smile too.
It's fine.
I thought they were maybe going to change the ending again. She luckily like found a person that whose brother had been like the person 8 people before her that had died, and so he'd been like following these deaths, and he's kind of figured out how he thinks that they can save her basically from the same thing happening, and it seems like they're about to pull that off. But then kind of one of the shticks of this entity is it's able to like trick you to think things are happening in your head and around you that aren't really happening. And so she kind of suffers the same fate at the end as in the first movie. But it does make me think, are they going to make a Smile 3? I would imagine they are.
And it has to follow everyone at the concert.
That's the thing, yeah. Since if you watch the person die, then it like haunts you the entire concert.
Let's do like a World War Z sequel instead.
Yeah. So I do appreciate that they like didn't do the same thing in the second one. They're like, how do we up the scales? It's like a more famous person. She has more eyes on her. And so that's a more fitting end to it, is it happens at the concert, which is what the entity would want, as many people to see it as possible. But
yeah, like, can it attack multiple, or does it have to do like
more of them than
eeny,
one?
meeny, miny, mo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take turns.
That's a good question. So maybe they're not going to do a third one, and just the moral of, or I guess the ending of that story is just like, it can't be beaten.
Yeah, you don't win.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah, I kind of like it too. And yeah, that moment at the end of the first one and at the second one, when the beast thing finally arrives, it's always like a big reveal, kind of. You're like, oh, here it is. It's something. But anyway, so I kind of had a horror movie kick this week, and I want to watch a few more while I have Paramount Plus. I want to watch Talk to Me, which my neighbor recommended. No?
No, yeah. I think you should. The intro to that show is intense.
Really?
Yes.
That is something I do appreciate, a good horror movie intro. And they almost all try to do it because they know, like, if they can scare you early, like the whole movie, you're going to be like shaken.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the movie's very unique.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that as well. So I don't know, kind of in a horror movie kick. Smile.
Heck yeah. I'm glad you understand why I like it.
It's fun. It like gets your heartbeat going, and you feel like a little tired afterwards, and you're like, whew, I did it. Kind of. I know they don't affect you as much anymore. But
then you were on Amazon looking for nightlights?
No, I was actually all right. Again, once you know the rules, as long as you don't watch somebody die in this weird way, I'm like, that's never happened to me. I'm safe.
That is true. Yeah.
So, anyways, so that was my Super Movie Brothers viewing this week. I don't think I've watched anything else other than a couple episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which we watch often.
Oh man, I've watched some stuff. I watched the it's like a strange favor, no, a unique favor.
Simple favor.
Simple favor. It's called like Another Simple Favor. It just came out. I watched that. It was fine. Nothing.
Have you seen the first one?
Yes.
Was it better or worse than the first one?
I would want to say maybe worse, but it was new content, so I was like, oh heck yeah, I've never seen this before. They're
two like great actresses, so I've always been curious, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah, it was fun enough. I watched something else. Oh man, I'm not gonna remember. But anyways, I usually just scroll through all the apps,
see what's new. Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, anything that's like new movies.
Yeah.
For some reason, I avoid new TV series all the time.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
I get it. I mean, they are a time suck. And so I totally get it. I feel like I'm since there's such a time suck, I kind of get stuck in like I've seen what I consider to be some of the best TV shows of all time with Better Call Saul and The Last Airbender and Breaking Bad and The Last of Us and uh, Attack on Titan and stuff like that. And I'm like, do I need to watch any more? Like, is it really going to be as high quality as one of these other ones?
To make a TV show that is better than Breaking Bad is quite a task.
I don't know if it's possible.
I know. Just the intro to each of those episodes, it's like, oh, they're panning away from some hose on a house.
Yep. Or
and there's a pool, and you're like,
teddy bear or something, and
it's just always unique.
Such good cinematography.
Oh my gosh!
And like one of the best stories ever. Yeah. So I agree. I get stuck in like I don't know if I can start a new show because unless it's going to be as good as one of these other ones, I'd rather rewatch that one.
Mm-hmm. That's why movies are easy to just try.
It's true. Because even if you're like half an hour in and you're like, this is the dumbest thing ever, you can bounce and don't feel like you've lost 2 weeks of your life.
Yep. For anybody who struggles picking drinks in a drink aisle or picking movies on Netflix, the best approach that I found is just to pick something that looks decent. If you dislike it, at least you watched a show for 20 minutes instead of scrolling on the Apple TV remote touchpad the whole time.
That's true. You know? That's what I do with the drinks. I take a few sips and then I just return it.
Yeah, I don't know why I even threw drinks in there, to be honest. I just be saying stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. Cool. Well, maybe we'll have some more horror movies or something this next week. But I think that's probably going to do it for Super Movie Brothers. And that will bring us to the opening of the show. Just a little housekeeping here. As a shout out, we do have a Patreon where you can get access to our podcast episodes 3 days early. You can also get bonus episodes. Like our faces there on those Clair Obscure characters.
That is nice.
Yeah, looking so nice. Bonus episodes like this one, where we talk about the newest episodes of HBO's Last of Us, which is an excellent show. Quite a bit different than the game, but also not. So I don't know. Been good changes, and some of them like, why'd you do that? But we'll see. That one's still ongoing. So please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/supergamebrothers. A lot of the posts on there are free, so you can just follow the page for free and check it out. Or if you want to write into the show, vote on the games that we play next or cover, review next, then you can do that there as well. It's a good time. Other than that, make sure you join our giveaway at supergamebrothers.com. It's just getting down to the wire. I can't believe it's already May, which means that there's only like a month and a half. I guess it's through July. 85 days left on the giveaway. So it's coming up quick. So make sure to join that. Get a board game bundle or a video game gift card. And since our podcast is still pretty small at this point, there's only about 2 million listeners a week. You got pretty good odds of winning that. So
yes, it could be 10 million.
Yep. So you got 5 times as good of odds.
That takes us to games on subscription services.
Sure does. And what do we always start with there, Devin?
We always start with Board Game Arena.
Oh, we do. And I love Board Game Arena. You can play board games on Board Game Arena, which makes sense. It has the word board game in the title.
I have this weird fear, before we dive into this, it's not really a fear, but it's an idea that eventually board games will just become video games. Because it's less work.
Yeah.
You're not building this physical thing and you throw every board game on a software and it can run the rules for you.
Yeah, it's a good point. I've thought about this too. I do like Board Game Arena a lot. I like that I can try a new game without having to pay for it.
Yeah.
I like that I can play and try that new game really fast. Like if the game is a 2-hour game, I can play it probably in 40 minutes on Board Game Arena, just because it handles all the administration. But what I have found is I've played Board Game Arena online with some friends before, and it's a good time. But I would much rather play that same game in person with those people.
Do you think you can make it as fun doing it virtually as you can in person if everyone had webcams and good microphones? Something like that to make it seem a little more personal? Or is that how you did it?
No, we didn't have full webcams and everything, so that might help. I think the one of the harder things is I think it's much harder to teach a game virtually.
It makes sense.
Like when I'm teaching a game, I'm like pointing at pieces and stuff and like showing you the tracks, and everyone's eyes are looking at the same spot. Whereas, if we're trying to get on Board Game Arena or Tabletop Simulator, it's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, you almost need to tell people to learn the game before joining.
Yeah, and if they do that, then like, I don't know, then the experience is probably a bit better too. But yeah, it is a good call out. I do think a lot of, not a lot, but a little bit of the board game magic is lost playing it digitally. But if you want to try out a game with some friends or try it out solo, which is usually what I do, just try it out by myself first. Man, such a good option. I don't have to pull out the rule book, set up every piece, and which can take quite a bit of time, and do all the administration myself. So a lot of love for Board Game Arena, even though it's not my favorite way to play a board game. And they do have 2 new games this week. They usually have at least one, and the 2 this week, bangers. Just great ones. You've played this one, Flip 7.
Totally.
Yeah, this is a really popular game this year. Actually, I think it came out last year, but it's the one where you say hit me, and you'll either get a new card,
and their rarity is based on the number.
Yep. And if you ever get a duplicate of a number you already have, so if you already have a 5 and the card you're dealt is another 5, you bust and you don't get any points that round. It's really fun, just quick, trying to get to like 200 points as fast as possible. You can play it in 20 minutes. You could even like lower that to 100 points if you wanted to play in half the time.
That is a good game. I almost think that game would be more fun in person.
I agree.
I think specific games would be more fun.
Yeah, or especially games that are more about the vibe.
Yeah.
Than like the math, and like the game itself. Because that one is a vibe. Like, I'm gonna freeze you, and I can see your score. I can see that you've got like a bunch of 5s. I'm gonna hit you with the flip. What's it called? The flip 3. Or whatever. And so yeah, this one is an in-person vibe. I agree, but might be fun virtually too. Cool that they have it. It's a big, cool game. And by big and cool, I mean very small and easy to play, but cool. And then the other one is a very famous game that I have not played before, but I have almost purchased many times because it's supposed to be so great. It's called 51st State, and it's kind of like an engine building card game, I think. Again, haven't played it. I know Z Garcia from the Dice Tower, it was like his favorite game of all time for a few years, I think. And so I've wanted to try it for a while. So now's my chance. We'll see if it's worth David looking into anymore. So 51st State and Flip 7 are the 2 this week. Check out those on Board Game Arena.
And on to Xbox.
Oh man, yeah. This is Wave 1 for Game Pass for the month of May. And let me just say, this is a absolutely killer like intro to May for them. Xbox is like hitting full stride with games coming out. They just had Oblivion. And then Clair Obscure, they got on Game Pass as well, even though they didn't make that game. Like, what a big get. So they had both of those in 1 week. And then basically like 2 weeks later, they have this like big list of games. You can see Doom is coming up quick.
Oh my goodness.
Revenge of the Savage Planet they have on day 1.
And that's very soon, is it not?
Yeah, I think next week. So this is a very good list. So we're just going to go through it pretty quick here. We'll just take turns reading like the names, I think. Dredge is a single-player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent. It's out on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass and Standard Game Pass. They have 3 versions now, which makes it a little confusing. But that one's out today. Dredge is great. I'm probably 60-70% through that game. Really have enjoyed it. So check that one out for sure.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Ultimate, Standard, Game Pass.
Yeah, and PC on May 7th. Do you know what those Dragon Ball characters were named? Is that Goku?
Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan, yeah. That is one show that I've only seen a couple episodes of because we didn't have like Cartoon Network or whatever it was on growing up.
Yeah, I don't know this stuff.
I have never watched Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, but I know a lot of people really love it. Dungeons of Hinterberg. I think Devin played that one for a minute.
I did.
Now it's on Game Pass Standard. instead of Ultimate, I think, on the 7th. It's kind of like a cel-shaded, very colorful game. It's like a hack and slash. You're beating up dudes and solving puzzles, right? It's kind of a cool vibe.
Oh, it's my turn. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Kill all gods in an action-packed action RPG from the developers of Ashen. I have not played Ashen.
You actually have.
Oh, yes, I have. I've played Ashen and Flip 7, I guess.
Well, we played a couple hours of it. I don't know that we played much more of that because it was co-op, I think, if I'm thinking of the right game. Now I don't know if I am, so we're going to just Google Ashen real quick.
Are you thinking it's the one that was like Monster Hunter?
Nope. Remember this one? Where like the people don't have faces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't... That was a co-op game?
Yeah, and like we got this little baby dragon.
No.
Dude? No? Okay. Well, we didn't finish it. We only played a few hours, but it's pretty cool. And this was like, yeah, the newest game from that team. So. Metal Slug Tactics now also on Game Pass Standard on May 7th. I really want to play that one. I love like Metal Slug and the art style. And it's a kind of a isometric top-down like tactics game. Looks very cool.
Ooh,
now to the big guns.
Revenge of the Savage Planet tomorrow. Hold up.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, that's tomorrow.
That might be happening. A future knocked off its axis by corporate greed and stupidity. You've been made redundant and abandoned on the far edge of space with little gear and no safety net. From what I remember in the first, super unique,
funny,
very funny, cartoony, strange. They were strange the whole time.
Yeah, weird plants that are trying to eat you and funny animals and stuff.
I feel like I need to play that.
Yeah, it might be a good time. I think it's a little bit more co-op focused, but maybe you can do it in a solo just fine. I'm not sure. Then we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed. I've wanted to try this one too. I think it's supposed to be like not excellent, but like good to great. And it's kind of like Hades. Like you go on runs and like get a little bit further in Ninja Turtles, so it's kind of a cool vibe. That one's also on the 8th on all 3 versions of Game Pass.
Warhammer Vermintide 2. Fight together with your friends. 4-player epic co-op game set in the Warhammer world.
Cool. Then one of their Xbox's biggest games of the year, Doom: The Dark Ages on May 15th. It's on Ultimate Game Pass and PC Game Pass, so it's not on Standard.
So if you were to do a free trial on Game Pass,
you got it.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
In fact, on this other podcast I listen to, they keep saying, like, whenever there's an Xbox game they want to play, they'll sign up for a month of Game Pass, pay the $15 or whatever it is, and then, like, after they're done with the game, they'll go into their Xbox settings and hit, like, turn off auto-renew or whatever to cancel their subscription for the next month. And for whatever reason, Xbox always pops up with a little pop-up that says, do you want to continue through the end of the month you paid for, or do you want to cancel it immediately now and we'll refund you the $15?
Oh my goodness. Really?
And I'm like, what are they doing? Like,
I hope
they might give you your money back.
Video games do that. Clash Royale, I get through the battle pass in 2 days and then I say I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, that's right. We're altruistic. We don't want your money. And so they anyways, Doom: The Dark Ages looks very cool. I would like to get caught up on Doom. I saw, since this is also on PlayStation, I think the same day, just obviously not for free, like, or included in a subscription like this. PlayStation posted about Doom on their Twitter account, and it said, like, want to catch up on Doom? And it listed every Doom game that they have currently in PlayStation Plus Extra, and I think it's basically all of them. Like the first one, Doom 64, Doom 3, which is the more horror-focused one that I would probably start with, and then Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. So there's a lot of Doom out there. And I like the way this one looks with like the fantasy vibe, and you have a shield and stuff. Anyways, that was a lot of talk about Doom, but there you go. There's Doom.
Culebra.
Yeah.
And the Souls of Limbo. Know nothing about it. It's on Ultimate and PC.
There you go. Firefighting Simulator, The Squad on the 20th. It's on all 3 versions of Game Pass.
And Police Simulator. Same thing.
You can be a firefighter or a policeman.
Oh my gosh. How will I ever choose?
Yeah. And then the In Case You Missed It section, Oblivion Remastered. We'll talk. It is. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But it's done very, very well. And then I think they had some other stuff on here too. Some DLC and yeah, I don't know. And Game Pass, definitely a good deal for the consumer.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Kind of crazy.
It's a cool system. It makes me respect Microsoft a little bit. It's like, we know we're giving you quite a bit of stuff.
I don't know how
games cycle through.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying, I think you're saying I don't know how they're making enough money.
I don't know how they make money. Like, because I would, even if I paid $15 for this month and played Revenge of the Savage Planet and Doom and the Ninja Turtles game, man, if I would have paid for those, Doom is $70. Revenge of the Savage Planet is probably 30 or 40, and Ninja Turtles is probably 20. Like, I'm at like 110. Like, I'm only paying 10% of what the game's costed.
Yeah, super cool. It's nice when they have good games on there. And
Yeah.
it seems like they do quite often.
They do. They get some big ones.
Crazy.
All that Microsoft money. All right, on the Epic Games Store, they have a couple free games this week. This one's called Dead Time Defenders. And, I don't know. It looks okay. It's a single player, what looks like a brawler, but then you're shooting. It's an action looter shooter. And I was like, oh, it might be fun and co-op, but I think it's single player only. So, anyways, Dead Time Defenders. And then the other one...
You could tell we were less excited about that game than some in the list. Here's Prime Gaming.
Yeah, before you go to Prime, I think there was one more.
Oh, was there?
On the...
I miss that every time.
That's okay. I had them in the same lines.
Here's the second one for Epic Games. Let me shoot this over real quick.
I think it's called Touch Type Tail.
Touch Type Tail.
Touch Type Tail. And it looks kind of like a funny little, I don't know, tower defense kind of game. You're upgrading your characters, and you do a lot of it by typing on your keyboard, which is kind of interesting. Like, to go a specific direction or move your knights around, you have to, like, type the words that match, like, where you want them to go. And so I like the idea. Whether it's actually fun, I don't know. But since you can add it to your library for free this week, if you like typing, want to pretend you're working?
Oh, yeah.
You can type this game away.
Amazing. Speaking of keyboards, earlier this week, I accidentally punched a drink all over my keyboard, and all of the numeric keys feel like you have to push that. I don't even know through what. Through cement.
Wow.
Like, it's stiff and then just breaks through and slams into the keyboard. I'm like, oh boy.
Wow.
Good thing they're relatively cheap. I'll get a new one at some point.
Yeah. I wonder, is there like I'm looking at my keyboard right here. Wonder, like, these screws on the back, if I took them out, could you, like, take the back panel out?
I can pull, like, half of my key. I can pull, like, all my keys off my keyboard from the top, but I don't know if it's pulling enough off.
For you to be able to clean it out. Yeah. Interesting. Because you have a mechanical keyboard, right?
I do. I would
cool.
Prefer for it to be quiet, though.
Yeah. I like how they feel, though. The clickety-clack.
Yeah, the clicking is cool, but then when you, like, add audio into the mix,
that's
picking up all the background noise, it's not the greatest.
I agree. All right. Amazon Prime, if you have that, they have a bunch of free games for the month of May as well. A lot of them Star Wars focused because of May the 4th.
Awesome.
And what is it? They have like another pun for like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, I think. There's May the 4th be with you. Revenge of the 5th, I think.
Oh, that's funny.
Or is it Revenge of the 6th? I can't remember. There is one for the 5th as well. And something for the 7th. I saw a funny post that was like using other lines from Star Wars with those. And it was Palpatine saying, I am the Senate. I am the 7th.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They're very dumb.
I love it.
Basically, Star Wars is trying to take over the whole month of May instead of just the one day. But
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I am. I think. Yeah.
I generally love Star Wars. And
yeah.
I've loved it growing up. I think some of the things they've done and choices have been very dumb, but love the characters. Cool world. Look at all those cool games. Free with game. Nope, free with Prime.
You get this game for free with game.
those are some good games. Fallen Order, Lego Star Wars Pinball. So make sure to get those. And then the full list here for free with Prime, 20 plus free games this month. Here's kind of the snapshot, and then we'll just go through them real quick. First one here, Star Wars Galactic Battleground Saga.
Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga.
Styx Master of Shadows.
The Invisible Hand.
Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus Digital Deluxe Edition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amnesia Rebirth.
It's a horror game.
I know those.
Hypnospace Outlaw. I don't know that one.
Doors Paradox.
I don't know that one either. Saints Row. Get Out of Hell.
Get. Get.
I don't know what that means.
Endless Legend Definitive Edition.
Golf with Your Friends. You've played that.
I sure have. Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2. I feel like I've seen that as well.
Yeah. Mail Time.
Here's the mail. Fate.
Thief 2, The Metal Age, another like stealth game.
Everdream Valley.
Chessorama.
The Lost Ashford Ring.
Samurai Bringer.
Trinity Fusion.
Master Plan Tycoon.
Yeah, you can say the last one.
Liberté.
I don't know how to say that.
Inspired by the French Revolution. And Body Horror.
Mm.
Kind of crazy. We were just talking about horror stuff. All right. So lots of free games on there. Some good ones, for sure. And then some I had never heard of. But Golf with Friends, the Star Wars stuff. Some people really like Saints Row and Amnesia. I haven't played many of those. But all right. Is that all the games?
It is, yes.
Subscription services. That brings us to what we've been playing. And I'm going to be completely honest this week, Devin. I've been so busy. I don't have a lot of updates. So I'm going to be really quick with my section.
Yeah.
I guess just really quickly, I'm still playing Blueprints, but I've only done a couple more days. So I haven't made a ton of progress more than what I said last week. So just to echo that, still love the game. I think it's amazing. But I haven't gotten to the first ending yet. And then I also played just a smidge more of Clair Obscure. Again, very, very cool. Like a turn-based game with active elements. Really like it. I hope it will continue to keep my interest. I keep seeing people post like, it's the best game I've played in like 10 years, or like game of the year for sure. I'm like, I think it's cool.
I also think it's cool,
really cool.
But for some reason,
I don't know if I can get to that level.
Yeah, I agree. I thought, whoa, this is sick. I haven't played a turn-based game since I was 3 years old. I tried this and was like, okay, I'm understanding. This is way dope. But for some reason, played it for 10 hours, never played it again.
The story hasn't hooked me yet. I think it's a cool premise, but like it hasn't had like the emotional like hook of like, oh, I want to get to the next cutscene. And like that, because that drives me a lot in like story games, kind of.
Yeah.
So, but the combat's fun. I just, I don't feel like I'm very good at it.
Oh my gosh, they made the smallest time windows for things in that game.
Yeah, some of them are hard, but
it's crazy.
So for video games, that's all I've been playing, and I've only played a little bit this last week. So, really short update there for me.
Well, I have 2 games on the list. Just quickly. We finished Red Dead Redemption 2. Actually, we didn't fully finish it, but we got through the major event in the game, Arthur moving on to better things. And it was emotional. Like you said on stream, I think I was so attached to the character because the game is so big. We spent so much time with him doing so many things.
Yeah.
Getting haircuts, looking at clothing, walking around, doing funny things, having ridiculous lines, playing cards, cooking food, hunting weird animals, fighting people, so many things. You spend so much time getting to know this person, you notice the small improvements in his character.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't deserve what happened to him in the end.
Yeah, it's true.
It was very sad.
Even though, like, I mean, he's kind of a villain. Like,
yeah, right off the rip.
Just because he's trying and like he's nice to people and stuff, man, you start rooting for him like crazy.
As much as I love certain franchises in video games, and I wouldn't say Red Dead Redemption is my favorite game I've ever played. Probably there's probably a lot of games that top it.
Yeah.
I can honestly say Arthur Morgan is definitely top 2, 3 protagonists I've ever played in a game.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And I was shocked because I typically don't get that attached to main characters.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because Link doesn't say anything, and there's probably a lot of reasons, but the game was fantastic. It was emotional. If I didn't have people staring at me, I probably would have got a little more emotional about the events in the game, but John Marston's cool. We are right in the end game, building a house, doing farming stuff.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of moved on from it, but fantastic, as most of you probably already know.
It's so good. Just watching this gameplay, and it kind of goes together with something we'll talk about later, but the worlds that Rockstar builds, man, like just like watching you go down this trail, there's like a train track next to it and like signs. Like it seems like the world is like real and alive, and you're having this cool story through it. But if you want to stop and just like run off a weird direction, you'll find something crazy like doing its own thing.
Oh yeah, it's very impressive, and I think that's what GTA 6 is gonna do as well. I think it's gonna blow our minds.
I think so too. Yep, we'll talk about that
when it comes out in 2050.
Yep, 2050 exactly. And just to piggyback on what you said, yeah, I would agree. Like Arthur Morgan, man, I think he's up there with like Nathan Drake.
Oh yeah,
to me, and like Arthur Morgan and like Joel and Ellie, like just best of the best character for sure.
So good. This was random, but this week we tried to do what was called an S+ hardcore speed run of Resident Evil 4 Remake. And I overestimated myself and maybe should have watched some guides before doing this. But we didn't go into it with the weapons we needed and the little perks. You basically have to do some extra game modes to get infinite ammo and specific things. And there's an armor set for Ashley in the game, so she can't get grabbed and taken. And I had it the whole time, and I didn't.
You forgot to put it on.
I didn't even. I had forgotten. So there's a lot of things.
It seemed like you were crushing it. You know that game very well. You've beaten it many times.
Yes.
I think it was just mostly that fact of like you didn't have the infinite ammo.
Oh my goodness, we were trying to do that with a 9mm the whole time.
That game's at that hardcore level is brutal.
Oh my gosh, it is so hard, but it makes me miss Resident Evil because you have to earn the win. I've done the platinum trophies on 2 and 3.
Yeah,
and it's work. You got to learn a section and understand that if you beat this boss, it's going to be after you threw your last flash grenade and have no bullets left.
Yep.
It is crazy. Such well-made games.
Cool.
I think it's beautiful. Leon's one-liners are so cringy. I don't know why I love him so much as a character, because there's better characters in Resident Evil, I think.
He's a cool one, though. Is he?
He is cool.
Leon, is he in number 2 as well?
He is in number 2, yes. Okay. And then
Jill?
Claire Redfield is in 2, and then in 3 it's Jill and Jeffrey. Jill and
Chris?
Nope. It's like this guy with curly hair.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Whatever his name is.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, we tried to speed run on a high difficulty for Resident Evil 4. Super fun. I couldn't remember how gory Resident Evil games are. They're very, very intense.
Yeah, a little violent, for sure.
But beautiful at the same time. They play well, but they are strategically difficult, no matter how much finagling and messing with controller settings I did. It was very hard to aim. They don't let you have high sensitivity, so you can't spin around super fast.
Yeah, you almost have to do that like twist move he can do.
Yeah, you have to use the mechanics they give you.
Yeah.
Like the U-turn ability.
Yeah, U-turn, exactly.
Fantastic game. If you haven't played the remakes of those, or even the originals, I mean, you and I played Resident Evil 5 months and months ago.
We did.
And it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard.
Yeah. It really was.
It's super fun, though.
Yeah, what a quirky series. I was just, as you were playing, like, at one point you needed to, like, open a door, and it's like, you were running through, found a treasure chest that had, like a lantern in it. Another one had a gold bangle.
Yep, just a bracelet.
A bracelet thing, and then, like, you're combining these weird items in order to open doors and stuff. There's such a vibe in their quirkiness, for sure. Cool, Devin. Those are good games. Any others for you, or were those the 2 big ones? this week that followed you from the stream?
Those are it. I dabbled in Rocket League. 2 games in, had someone telling me I should be embarrassed to be playing the game, and if I'm currently streaming, I should be embarrassed, and I'm so terrible at the game. And I was like,
Aren't you like almost Supersonic Legend?
very high ranked in that game, yeah. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm getting too old for these competitive games. My brain's slower too.
That level of competition that also isn't like regulated by a live referee or like penalties in any way does just kind of bring out the most annoying of people.
Oh, it's so crazy because it's so irrational. Yeah. Someone will be like, "How did you miss that?" And I'm like, "Are we gonna ignore the 5 seconds before that happened, or
right? Yeah,
we just want to highlight my mistakes." This game. Yep. People are funny online. Yeah, but it really pushed me out of the game. I was like, "I'm good. Yep, I'm fine."
Yeah, no, I get you.
Back to my story games.
Cool. I wasn't able to play any board games this week. We are going to go to the table just for a second, just so everyone can see my Mountain Dew. But no, not my Mountain Dew, actually. I've got 2 games that did show up this week. I can't remember if I showed them last week. I don't think I did, but Iliad and Ichor, or Ichor, I'm not exactly sure how that's pronounced, delivered this last week. They're 2-player games from Bitewing Games, designed by
Reiner Knizia,
that good himself. Doctor. Yeah. And they've been getting rave reviews. I think Iliad a little bit higher than Ichor, but they're both supposed to be great. So we'll probably play one of them on the channel next week, like before we record. I would imagine they're pretty short, like 20-minute game or something. So it's supposed to be excellent. I'm excited to play those. Just haven't gotten them to the table quite yet. But yeah, I think that's unfortunately it for me for board games this week. I wasn't able to.
Life gets busy.
It does. It's kind of crazy that it does, but it sure does. All right, and that brings us to things we're excited about, which I just kind of went into with Iliad and Ichor, but also still haven't started Space Marine 2 yet. It's sitting next to my PlayStation downstairs. I just didn't quite have the time to start it, but excited to start that one. It's kind of like Gears of War, but in the Warhammer universe, with like a full single-player campaign, a co-op campaign, a multiplayer mode, and like a horde mode, and all these cool modes. So I do want to play it.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks very cool. We'll talk more about Gears of War and that genre later today too. But I think for video games, that and Bionic Bay, which I talked about a little bit last week, that 2D kind of platforming game, are probably the next 2 that I will play. I am excited for Revenge of the Savage Planet. That's not what it's called. Return to the Savage? What was it called? Maybe it was
Revenge. I feel like it was Revenge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am excited to try that one. I just don't have Game Pass, so I won't be able to try it kind of without a cost. So I'll probably wait till it's a little more on sale. But I did really enjoy the first one. And I think that
pretty much like does it.
Next game that comes out that interests me. I do want to play Doom as well, but I'm so far behind on those, and I'm not going to pay $70 for it quite yet. So we'll play it later in life.
What have you heard of Dune Awakening?
I don't know that there is a ton of content, like preview and like gameplay content of it available yet.
Oh, you're right. My bad. I thought this was saying that it was already out.
No, it comes out on the 20th, but I think only for PC.
Okay.
I think the PS5 and Xbox like console versions come out later in the year. I hope it's cool. I love the Dune world. Never really been into an MMO, but hey, I just tried a turn-based game, a couple weeks ago and really enjoyed that so far. So maybe I could get into an MMO. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's probably it for me as far as things that I'm excited for in the immediate future. I guess just kind of looking ahead for the rest of the month of May. Night Rain comes out at the end of the month. That game's going to be big.
I am very excited for Night Rain, but there's something that's difficult when a game is like co-op with more than just one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to, at my age, kind of hard to get enough people consistently to play it. So I'm like, am I just going to solo drive that game? You know what I mean?
Can you just solo queue and have a good time? Like that is an important question there. And for a game that's so incredibly difficult and demanding, will I have fun solo queuing? Like, I feel like you'd have the most fun with like friends or people that are kind of at your skill level.
Yeah, it'd be nice to watch your friends take all the aggro of a boss and just get slapped
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
minute.
that too. It might be kind of comical in that way. We'll see. All right, Devin. Well, I think that ends that segment. What does that bring us to? All right, this is a little pickup we're recording here. We just, for whatever reason, finished the episode like normal, told OBS to stop recording, and for whatever reason, it didn't do that. We waited for like half an hour for the computer to finish saying stopping recording, and it never did. So it it ended up wiping half of the episode for us. So just know we did go over crowdfunding corner, Grand Theft Auto being delayed till May, the second trailer, how much it's been viewed,
Destiny, Gears of War.
Yeah, Gears of War Reloaded, Shallow Regrets,
Propagation Station.
Propagation Station. What was the third one? Night Soil.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been a fun episode that's just vanished into the crowdfunding corner ether. So anyways, just wanted to make sure that if you're listening to this, half of, maybe 2/3 of a broken episode, just know it was there. It's just gone now. But we still love you. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week for episode 59. And hopefully my computer and OBS will like us more next week. That's the first time ever we've had a crash delete part of an episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, hey, after a little more than a year, this is probably still a win. So
I call this a win.
That's a big W. But anyways, see you next week. Check out all the stuff. Episode 4 of our conversation about The Last of Us on Patreon. Devin is on Twitch and TikTok. Player 4 TV. We'll see you next week. Till then, bye.